Roots of the Science podcast with your girl, Anne with an E.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Root of the Science podcast with your girl, Anne with an E. If you are new here, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. For the regular listeners, thank you so much for always coming back. Your usual reminder that you can follow this podcast on Twitter and Instagram at The Root of the Sci Pod, Facebook or LinkedIn at The Root of the Science Podcast, on TikTok at The Root of the Sci Pod. You can also listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and of course, newly you can listen to us on YouTube. So please make sure that you subscribe to all of those channels. It would be really great to have you on and for you to interact with us. Most importantly, also, I'd like to remind you that you can support the show by clicking on the PayPal link for you to donate and give a small contribution or big one. Let me not stop you to support the show. It really goes a long way for me to be creating great content that you continuously hear every other week. However, announcement, this is the finale. We have reached the finale of season 3 and I'm really excited. Thank you once again to every single guest who's been on the show this season. We changed things up a little bit. We changed the way that things were moving, but I really appreciate everybody. Also a big appreciation to Sarah, who runs the social media. Really appreciate her. She's doing a really good job. So we're going to take a slight hiatus for the next couple of weeks and we'll be seeing you next year, bigger and better, for season 4. I cannot even believe that it's been 4 seasons already. I am so excited. Now let's get into today's episode. This episode is really close to home. It was a thought process that Mara Chibwana and I had after my visit in Malawi in October. So for those who don't know, I am originally from Malawi, and when I went home in October for a couple of weeks, I really felt like I wanted to do something where this podcast resonates to where I'm from. So chatting with Mara, we thought we could do a collaboration where we amplify students at the Science for All project, which she is currently co-leading. So we are going to do that today. For this finale for season 3, this week, I'll be interviewing 4 undergraduate students who are Tiamike Ntandira, Ruth Kofi, Vitumbuko Msowoya, and Kingsley Kajanga from the Science for All program under the Malawi Liverpool program, who will speak about their journey in the science field, what they're currently studying, and also some of their future aspirations. But first things first, though, I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Mara Grace Chibwana, who is the co-lead of the program, and she'll give us an introduction on what Science for All is, discussing why the program was started, the vision, the importance, as well as her role as the project coordinator. So Mara, take it away.
My name is Mara Grace Chibwana. I am a medical doctor and junior clinician scientist in immunology working with the Infection and Immunity Research Group at the Malawi Liverpool Wellcome Program, which in short is known as MLW. MLW is a leading health research institution in Malawi that aims to conduct excellent research that benefits health and to train the next generation of scientists and researchers. It is with this background that the Science for All initiative was established under MLW in 2018. In collaboration with Dr. Kondwani Jambo and Ms. Agnes Lakudzala at MLW, I assist with the coordination of the Science for All initiative. The Science for All initiative aims to encourage students in primary, secondary, and tertiary education institutions in Malawi to pursue careers in science with a focus on clinical and biomedical science careers. Since the establishment of the Science for All initiative in 2018, we have engaged and mentored a large cohort of over 100 students in the country, recently established science clubs in 4 secondary schools in southern Malawi, and our activities with these science clubs includes mentoring the students in secondary school, exposing them to the local scientists in Malawi, and explaining to them what a career in science looks like. In addition, we have students at various levels of university education who you will hear from in the coming podcast episodes. Thank you.
My guest today is Tiamike Agnes Ntandira, who is 22 years old, doing an immunology program at the Malawi University of Science and Technology, commonly known as MUST. And she is in her final year of a 4-year program. She's also a Science for All ambassador and intern at the Malawi Liverpool Wellcome Trust. Tiamike, welcome to the show. It's so lovely to have you.
Thank you, Annie.
It is such a pleasure to talk to you today. So let's get things started. Tell us a little bit about some of the influences that got you into the science. When you were growing up, is this something that you always knew that this is what you wanted to do?
So when I was growing up, especially when I was at secondary school, I really wanted to be an accountant because I was I really liked mathematics. So I always wanted to be an accountant and to do accounting course. But when now I lost my exams, I started having some classes with some of the kids around my area where I was just doing part-time classes. I was teaching them honest sciences. That's when now I get interested more into sciences, especially when I was maybe talking about diseases. That's when I got interested into sciences. And one day my uncle was talking to me, reading me about someone, a friend of his, who is doing immunology program. By that time, we didn't have immunology programs in Malawi. But then he was just explaining to me that in this course and all that. So, and then he also helped me to go through some papers, research papers in medicine. So I was just going through them and reading about what people do, like scientists, what do they really do? And then that's when, that year, that was in 2018, Malawi University of Science and Technology introduces some new courses, and immunology is part of it. So I applied for immunology program, though I didn't know what was it all about. But I just wanted to do something different, something new that I never heard someone doing it. Most of us when you're growing up, maybe at school, we say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer. Some of the common careers that we know, but we don't end up doing them. Yeah, so I really wanted something different. But I want to be a pioneer in this. Because first introduced in Malawi, and but I knew that we're going to be the pioneers. So I wanted that. That was what I was thinking about. I want to be a pioneer in something, especially in sciences. Then I had to choose immunology. Yeah. So I'd go for it. Without knowing what
lovely. No, lovely, Tiamike. And it just sounds like everything sort of happened simultaneously at the same time, that the fact that you're being exposed to this and also it being introduced as a degree. So it was just a nice collision of events happening at the same time. Exactly. I don't know. Some people might say coincidence. Some people might say it was God. Some people might say it was the universe. But I'm going to say maybe it was God who was like, listen, this is what you're meant to do. And like you said, you are the pioneering class. So you were part of the first class who started at your university.
Yes, exactly. That's what you say in Malawi.
Yeah, in Malawi. So as you did mention that you are doing immunology and you're in your 4th year, being the pioneer of any class or any path is not always easy. As nice as it sounds to say we are the pioneers, we are the first ones. So I'd like you rather to just talk us through your journey so far in the 4 years of your degree, talking about some of the good and also some of the challenges and how you overcame all of that.
All right. So I'll start with the good part of it. So first of all, like doing immunology throughout these 4 years that I've been, now I'm able to understand how the body works, or I should say a good understanding on how the body mounts its defense against harmful invaders. And also I can talk about how it responds to different infections that we have been like affected as us humans. And also how immunology itself, like how it can be applied in different fields. We can talk about in vaccines production. So far, that's what I've learned. And also even in some therapies, like for cancer, we talk about cancer immunotherapy, and also in a lot of fields as well for immunology. So that's the part of the interest part of immunology that I've learned, how the body works itself, how our cells in the body respond, and how I can fit in. It's like can fit in a lot of fields. Like there is also, it has increased the advances like in medicine parts, the immunology part. So that's the good part about it. That, because you're not just having the good part of it, also some challenge that you've met, especially as you have just said that as being a pioneer, it's not that easy. So as being the pioneers of immunology for bachelor's degree here, the program, like what Lily learned was all about fearless. I never had a chance to do practical thing, like everything that we learned. It was just more of theory because we don't have a lab set yet for immunology lab at Malawi University of Science and Technology. So that was really hard for us. Moreover, I didn't know what immunology was all about. I was just learning about theories and even, like the equipment that we learned, how do they look? It was just all about feelers. So I didn't have the clear view, like what I'm going to be like after finishing my studies. Is it all about just learning how the body works, all this? Where am I going to find the vaccine production industry in Malawi? And also, I never even had a chance to meet anyone doing immunology who can motivate me or encourage me, like, oh, my dear, you're doing a good course, all that.
Yeah.
So it was just going, the direction we're in, just following the theory part itself. And also, even there's some things that were like in the schedules that were being changed. I say, this was too much for these guys. But because we are pioneers, everything was changing on us. So it's that something, and we just switch. That's you're not supposed to include this in your course. So I think because you're the pioneer, just be kind of new, like you're just the pilots. So, pilot group. So it's kind of new. So that has really been hard for us. We didn't even know what to really have to do. Like you're doing about virus to just introduce something like, why are you giving us these informations? Then we're going to apply this. So we didn't have a clear view of it. Even to sort out some things on maybe doing internship and some other things. It's still hard for us right now because it's not really sorted out because we're the first cohort. But on the other cohorts and the groups who are behind us, obviously they'll have a good path than us.
Yeah.
So that's really challenging being the first cohorts. And more the coming of course with the later study.
No, I can understand how that must be like, not having, as for you as a student, and I'm sure even the practitioners who are teaching you this course, it was all a new territory, and it can get a little bit, difficult. You mentioned that doing this, you didn't know anybody who was doing immunology, well, okay, apart from your dad's friend who you said, but just the idea of where you can talk to somebody about this. So then I wanted to ask you, how has being part of the Science for All Club been beneficial for your growth? Was it helpful to kind of supplement that I don't know, that mentorship idea that you might have felt like was lacking?
So being a part of Science for All, that has really changed my life a lot, has really contributed a lot to me. First of all, being a part of Science for All, that's when I got a chance to be at the Malawi Liver Wellcome Trust as an intern. And here at Malawi Liver Wellcome Trust, now we have the immunologists, like the ones who have done immunology at PhD level and others at master's level. So because of Science for All, I came to meet with these people and then who started mentoring me. Like, for example, of Dr. Jambo, who is one of my role models, and also have a research in bio and other guys. So all the scientists at Malawi Liver Wellcome Trust who have been in Knowledge Lab, and they have really equipped me in terms of to do all the things that I've learned in the theory, now to do them in practical. And they have taught me as well, like how to interact with people, like good communication skills, if I want to learn from someone. And they really encouraged me a lot, like they're able to see the potential in me, that I can do it. And that one day I can also be one of the scientists like them. And they've trained me from there as if I don't know anything. It would really be nice. And that has really changed me a lot, because that has kept me motivated, like being motivated to keep on working hard so that I should finish my bachelor's degree with good grades, and so that I should be also, maybe one day I'll work at Malawi Liver Wellcome Trust and also be like them. And they have really given me a best leadership skills, and they're still mentoring me in all the ways. They taught me like how to present itself, like how to present myself to the public, how to do like presentation, scientific presentation. Like I would feel like from there, they've taught me everything. I've seen a big difference, like, and now I'm able to know that as an immunologist, this is what I have to do. And when I finish my studies, this is what I'm expected to do. So that has really changed a lot. Like, it has contributed a lot to my studies and my personal views and what immunology is. And because of that as well, I take it as an advantage as well to motivate some of the friends who are behind, like who are, let's say, in year 3, year 2, who are doing immunology, telling them now, let them know what immunology is it all about. Because I know they cannot have a chance as I had, because I'm in a group of Science for All as one of the ambassadors. And like I'm privileged, like I'm getting some of the mentorship skills and some of the views that I know that they cannot have it. So for me, they're going now, I can tell them what immunology is all about. And they should know it, because I didn't have a chance to know it at my teenage years. Like on the first year, second year, for them, they can work towards, they can work more harder. Maybe if I can tell them what is it all about. And everything that I've learned so far, and what it really means to be, like to study immunology, what I'm expected to know, what I have to do in the future for that.
Wow, that's so amazing. And I think it's such great work that the Science for All is doing in equipping the next generation and preparing them not only academically, but you said like they're also equipping you in how to communicate effectively and, be a better version for you in the future. And I love what you said, that you are going back to your friends who are behind you or people who don't even know about immunology, and you're also able to tell them like, listen, this is something that you can do, and this is something that you didn't have. And I think that's so beautiful, because you are able, you've kind of got a map in your pioneering. When you pioneer, when you're the first one, you're able to develop a map, and somebody now can can use your career or your journey to kind of map out their own journey and miss out on all the hurdles. And speaking of your journey, Tiamike, what are the future prospects? You're almost finishing now. You're in your 4th year. So what happens next? Are you pursuing further? Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself in the future?
Okay, so as I already said, that these people like at Malawi Liverpool Trust, they've really mentored me a lot, and I would really like to follow like their footsteps for their doing. So after all that mentored me, after all the knowledge they've been equipped and they're still equipping me, I really want like to go further with immunology, like maybe to work, I should say, can work or just get more experience for 2 or a year after my graduation. And then I should get a chance. I pray that I'll get it through Times More and through the help that I have. I'm really sure that I'm going to get a chance and also do my master's so that I should really be more equipped in immunology parts. And also in future have my own projects, as I'm seeing my mentors doing their own projects in medical research. So I really want to do my master's and also do my PhD in immunology so that I should be fully equipped and I should also equip others. I should be a good example to also these other scientists, that's the young scientists that we are trying to motivate the students to be the future scientists or the future researchers. So I'd like to go to my studies as far as I can on the clinical parts, because as we know, the different pandemic that's leading, different, say, infections that are coming, different diseases. So with immunology knowledge that I have, I know I'll be helpful in terms of doing some research, medical research basically, on these diseases and try to cure of it. But I know that I still need more knowledge. That's why I really opt to do my master's as well and also my PhD, so that I should be like my mentors, Dr. Kundanjambo and others as well.
Oh, fantastic. I wish you all of the best, and you sound very motivated and to continue, and I'm sure it'll all go really well. Thank you so much for chatting with me today, Tiamike. It's been so lovely hearing about you and the work that you do, and I wish you all of the best in the future, and so that I can one day call you Dr. Tiamike, and I'm sure that's definitely going to happen, right?
Yes, yes, thank you, Annie. Thank you very much. I enjoyed this.
Awesome. Up next is Ruth Coffey. Ruth is a Science for All ambassador from the Malawi University of Science and Technology, commonly known as MUST. She's in her 3rd year, currently pursuing an immunology degree with 2 more semesters until she is completed. She is an intern at the Malawi Liverpool Wellcome Trust during the holidays and joined the Science for All program in 2018 and has been there for the 4 years. Ruth is currently 21 years old. Ruth, welcome to the show. It is such a pleasure to have you with me.
Thank you so much. I've been looking forward to be here.
Awesome. So, like I said, we've already introduced you. So I'd love us to go straight into the jugular. What made you want to do science? Because, is it something that you always knew that, hey, I'm going to be pursuing a degree? Young Ruth, did she know that this is where she was going to end up?
Definitely no. So if you ask me in 2017, if you met me in 2017 and asked me this very same question, I would have told you, no, I want to be a lawyer. I want to pursue journalism. So those were the things I wanted to do before I went for science. So when I was in Form 4, I was, I think, 2 months before finishing my high school and secondary school, the Malawi Liverpool Wellcome Trust guys visited our school. And they had this documentary, and they were showing Dr. Kundanjambo, one of the researchers here at Malawi Liverpool Wellcome Trust. So it was a documentary showing his journey as a scientist, and they were showing people working in the lab. They had different research questions, and the one that really stuck in my head was how does HIV affect our system and everything else. And so when I saw that video, that documentary, I was captivated in a way. I was like, wow, this is really cool. I would like to be this one day. So after that day, if anyone came and asked me, what do you want to do? I would straight away say, I want to do science. Yeah. So one of the challenges for me was the only science programs that I knew and were medical related were being a nurse or a doctor. And for me, I till now, I'm not confident enough to be with patients. So I was like, no, I can't be with patients. I would have loved to do medical science, yes, but I'm not courageous enough to be around people who are not feeling well. So I just went for being a lawyer or a journalist. But then after that day, and I saw this other field of science, research, medical science and research, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. So that was my turning point, and I became so passionate about science.
I love that. I laugh because even for me, I also wanted to become a lawyer as well. So I get that dream.
Yeah.
I get that dream. Hey, right? You had this vision in your head that you're going to be this cool lawyer.
I know.
And lawyers always looked really cool. But I'm glad you said that for you, the turning point was when you saw people and it kind of expanded your horizons of what you know of what the health sector is, be it more than just what do you call it, a nurse or a doctor. Okay, so then let's walk this journey a little bit further. Science for All comes to school and you now know, okay, I want to do something in the medical sciences field, right?
Yes.
But now you are pursuing your immunology degree.
Yes.
Did you know at that point as well that specifically you want to do immunology? If not, can you take us through that journey and how you got into immunology?
Yes, thank you. This is a very good question. I love it. Immunology, basically the study of the whole immune system. So as I said earlier on, that when I saw the documentary, I was so captivated. And actually, there is a documentary here, another documentary. After watching that documentary, I had an interview with one of the people who came there. So they asked me, which part of the documentary did you like the most? I was very young. Very young, yes. I was very young, and that was the day I started wanting to do science. And my answer was, I liked the part where people were working with samples. So I saw one guy working with blood, and then he was doing a lot of science on the blood. So I was like, wow. So I told the guy who interviewed me then that I liked the part where they were working with blood. So after writing my MSc, I finished on the 13th of October. And on the 14th of October, I told my friends, guys, let's go to Malawi Liverpool Trust. There is a Science for All club. Let's go and join and we can see what they're doing. So in 2018, 14th October, I came here at Malawi Liverpool Trust. I met Dr. Konanjambo, who was in the documentary. And then they told us there isn't a club per se, but now you guys are here. This is a really good idea. We can work around it and come up with a Science for All club. And that was how I got introduced to so many other scientists here at Malawi Liverpool Trust, and they started teaching us about. So Dr. Konanjambo really that focuses on the immunology part. So we would meet people who are into immunology, and they would tell us about, let's say, HIV and AIDS, TB. And for me, I found those diseases fascinating as when they enter our body and what our immune system does. So I was like, okay, how can I study more about what HIV does to the body, what TB does to the body? And I think then they had just introduced immunology at MAS because we are the second intake. So I saw the program immunology. I was like, this is a good way to go for what I'm interested in. So I applied for immunology. It was my first choice, and I was taken for my first choice. So that has been my journey with immunology.
Oh, nice. Yes. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I love how you were so sure of yourself, number one, and very confident in pursuing what you want, where you said that you came and you're like, hi, I want to do this, and you came and you met those people. So that just shows your tenacity and just shows how confident you are about getting this degree. So let's talk further about this journey. Then you said you were the second cohort.
Yes, second cohort.
We spoke to Tiamike, who was in the part of the first cohort. So this would be quite interesting then to hear from your take. How was that journey, not being the first one, not being the first one? How was that journey, talking about the successes and also some of the difficulties, if any? How was doing that immunology course?
So when I was leaving MOW for the first time to go to school for semester 1, semester 2, and the second year, third year, I went there and I was in high spirits. I was like, I know immunology. I know what I'm not supposed to know by now. I knew things that we were going to learn in third year. So I went to school all confident and in high spirits. I was like, I'll do this and I'll do this right. So I went to school first year and second year. There was no immunology. We were just learning physics, chemistry. So for me, that was so boring. And I didn't really, I know this is science, but then I wasn't really into this kind of science. I wanted to study the immune system. So I was like, so I have 1 whole year of doing nothing that has something to do with immunology. So for me, I was really frustrated my first year because I was forced to forget some of the things that I had been learning from Malawi Liver Program Trust and look at physics and then start from zero. So it was really frustrating for me, and my grades weren't really that good. But then in second year, we started diving into immunology, and that's when I started to enjoy it. And being the second cohort and the program is just coming in, there are some challenges that us as students were facing, as in where can other students go for their attachments and everything else. But so far, I have been enjoying doing immunology, and we just received, I think, our results yesterday, and I got a distinction this semester. So I have been enjoying immunology.
Fantastic.
Immunology second year, third year. So we've been doing immunology, and I love it. And I don't know, but I just love immunology so much. Yeah, I think that was one of the challenges. Yeah.
Okay. No, congratulations on your results.
Thank you.
That's very good.
Thank you.
You can tell that it's a reflective, because even the way that you speak about it, you're very excited and you're very passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I think you touched on something very important where you said in your first year, when you were doing your degree, it felt very boring because you were just doing all the basic things. And I think that's something very important to tell all the people who come, because it seems to be the same for all science programs, where in your first year you do all the basic sciences and everybody does the same thing. And, and then only in your second year, only in your second year does it get a little bit more
exciting.
Exciting and also very specific to what you are doing. So for all the young people who are listening in and wanting to study immunology, don't get shocked like Ruth did.
So
your first, go ahead.
We have new interns and new science for interns. I think they joined us last month. They have just written their MSc as well. So this was the first thing that I told them. I told them, you will be learning a lot of immunology, but when you go to school, not be surprised. So you can start studying physics now. Don't throw physics away. Don't throw chemistry away. So that's what I told them, because I threw those things away and I paid for it. Yeah.
We all did. For me, it was I tried to throw away maths because I thought I don't need maths to do agricultural sciences. But first year, you do. Okay, Ruth, let's talk about Science 4. You just said that this year you are an intern at the Science 4 club, and this year you said that just this month you were you were welcoming new members. So ever since you joined the club in 2018, I'd like to say the way that you've said it to me, it sounds like you're the one who was like, okay, let's have a club when you came there. Yeah, okay, yeah, own it. Yes. So since you are part of the inception of Science for All, how has it been beneficial for you, for your growth as a scientist or as a future scientist, and why is it so important that this program actually exists?
2018, joined Malawi Liverpool Contrast and the Science for All, and got my results for MSc. And I applied for immunology, and I was taken for immunology. And first thing that they offered me was an internship to be going to the laboratory and see what immunology is all about. So I could see people do the experiments, and I could help with the experiments. I could arrange some of my own experiments, and that was really exciting for me. And it really broadened my understanding on immunology, on research, and everything else. So that was one part. And the second part was I was going to the laboratory, and then I was helping with the inception of Science for All in secondary schools. So we know, in Malawi, one of the challenges is we don't really have a lot of science class as other countries do. We only find church clubs, which is good, but then we also need science, because in secondary school, the whole idea that moves in our heads is that science is difficult, or those who are geniuses are the ones, those who are blind, who are geniuses are the ones who can do more of science. So the first idea was to take Science for All into secondary schools. And right now we have, I think, 4 schools in Malawi, and we have added other schools, I think 10 schools. So we want it to be a culture. We want it to be in everyone's head that we can do science. It's not for those who are bright, because to be honest, I wasn't the brightest students of all, but I believed in myself. So we want them to look within themselves and trust in themselves, believe in themselves that they can do it. So for me, that has been the journey. And for my personal growth, I can say I met people who were mentoring me in not just science. I was only 18 when I came to MOW. So I met people who have been mentoring me in my life outside science, in how I dress, how I speak, how I pray. So I have been going through a lot of mentoring on what a person should be. So for me, I can say I've been learning from the best, because I haven't been in contact with people who are just Malawian based, but there are people who go outside and then come back. So to hear from those people what I need, what I have to be doing to be more successful in the field has really been has really contributed to my personal growth. Yeah. And when I was coming here, for example, I was only focusing on going into the university and getting a degree. But after seeing people here doing their masters, doing their PhDs, I was like, okay, I think I can do this. So for me, it's just opened. So Science for All has just opened this new world for me that I never knew existed. So yeah.
Amazing. So kudos to the team and the staff at Science for All and the whole Malawi Liverpool Trust, because the way you've explained it, it's such a whole holistic approach, and the inspiration, the motivation, it's pretty important, especially as you are starting in something. And I think the whole idea for you is that seeing people who look like you makes it, doing these really great things or going abroad and coming back makes it more tangible that, okay, you know what, I can also do this too. So that's pretty amazing. And speaking of, you touched briefly about how, you've seen people doing MSCs or PhDs and you've seen people who inspire you. What are your future aspirations after you finish your degree? Where is Ruth going to be in the future?
I feel like the question has pretty much stated what I wanted to say. So I want to when I finish my degree, my bachelor's degree, I want to pursue master's degree and a PhD. And for me, what is really on my heart, I can say I want to do a PhD and everything, but what is really on my heart is my community, where I'm coming from. I'll give an example of myself. When I was growing up in secondary school, I didn't really have a lot of people who I could call role models, and there wasn't that much of access to people who can tell us that in the medical field, it's not just nursing, it's not just about being a doctor, but you can do research, you can do everything else. We don't have much of those people in our community. So for me, what is really on my heart is to be that icon that can help other youth to see that they can do it. I am not coming from a family that is well-to-do. Not so many went to school, but I just want to stand out and be the source of inspiration for others, that she has been raised in this way, and us, it's pretty much similar, but we can all do it. So it's really on my heart to be the icon to other people. We don't have to just have our teachers being our role models because they're teaching biology. So yeah, that is my role model. That is my role model. So I want to. So if having a PhD will make me stand out, I will go for a PhD. If having anything else above that will help me stand out and allow the youth in my community in Malawi. And I feel like this could be the case in other countries as well. And if there is anything I can do to stand out and make the youth see me and go like, oh, so this is how she was brought up. This is what she's been going through. And she's here. I think I can also do it. So I just want to be that kind of icon that the youth will use to motivate themselves. And
wow, so inspiring.
Yes.
I'm inspired. I'm so inspired. I'm inspired with how sure of yourself you are. I'm inspired with how the vision is very clear. And how your vision is not only about you, but it's about others and being that source of inspiration that you never had. And I think because it is like that, you're going to get very, very far. And I'm excited to see you grow and achieve many amazing things. And it's been such a pleasure chatting with you, Ruth. I really, really enjoyed our conversation. Up next, we have Vitumbuko Msoya. He's 18 years old and currently based in Blantyre, Malawi. He is a first-year student at the Malawi University of Science and Technology, also known as MUST, pursuing a degree in medical microbiology. He is a Science for All ambassador, and he says he loves it because it allows him it inspires him and also inspires everybody as well. Hi, Vitumbuko, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It is such a great pleasure to have you here with me today. So first things first, I would love to know, you said you're a medical microbiology student, right?
Yeah.
So was science something that you always knew that this is what I'm going to do, or, is it something that sort of just happened? What is your story?
I guess for me, science is what I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. Back then, I used to love this stuff about space, the planets, the sun, the stars. I really loved it a lot. So since I was a kid, I've been in love with science.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so you said you loved the planet and the stars. So can I assume you wanted to be an astronaut or something like that? Was that your vision when you thought of yourself as a scientist?
Yes, that was my vision. Yeah, I wanted to be an astronaut, yeah. But then I kind of changed my mind. Mm-hmm. I think I was back in primary school. So there was one day, I was in a hall with my friend, and we were telling each other dreams, And then she mentioned that she wanted to cure the HIV. I was like, wow, that's a cool dream.
Yeah,
I want to do that too. So since then, I just want to cure a disease. Now that's my purpose in life. I want to do something like that. So yeah, that's why.
Do you have a particular disease in mind? Like your friend had HIV, or is it you don't mind whichever one you cure?
Whichever one, but mostly I want HIV.
All right, that's a big dream. All right, no, fantastic. But then, Vitumbuko, how did you even know about medical microbiology? Take us along that journey, because, growing up, many people, when they think of science, I don't think they know specifically of that field. So how did you end up doing medical microbiology?
Okay, so after I start for my MSCEs, those are the exams you write after you finish your secondary school. When I was about to start applying for colleges and stuff, I wanted to be a chemical engineer because I wanted to be making medicine to cure people. Then my uncle is a virologist, and he was like, the different ways of how you can cure a disease. And that's also through research, So he kind of lit that fire inside me again, like I had when I was a kid. That, I think I can just also go into research and find a cure for something or help the nation through my research. So that's how I got into microbiology.
Okay, that's great. So we have to pay a big kudos and homage to your uncle, because he was sort of that visible role model for you to kind of direct you more clearly into this path, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
A lot of respect to him.
It always starts like that, having something closer to home. So you said that currently you are in your first year?
Yes, I'm in my first year.
Yeah,
I just finished my first semester.
Oh, first semester. Talk us through, how was that? Yes. How was that transition from secondary school into university?
Well, it was kind of amazing. College is just amazing. And I can't wait to go back. Right now I'm on holiday. Can't wait to go back.
What was so amazing about it?
Okay, just the new experience, For secondary school, it's just in an all-boys school. It was very strict, something like that.
Then the girls, Vitumbuko. No. Okay, I'm joking. Go ahead.
But then, college life is just free-flowing, You basically have freedom and you can make your own choices. So I just really love that idea that I have that control over my life, and I can make my decisions. So it's just been amazing. It's been amazing.
That's great. So leading up to you being starting in university or college rather, what were some of the successes or challenges that you faced to get to this particular point of where you are?
Okay, for me, I feel like my story begins in primary school. With my successes, I feel like primary school was a very successful journey for me because I really loved it. I was a kid, was not really thinking too much about, about my future or something like that. I just enjoyed school. So I really liked it a lot. And then when I went to secondary school, it was a lot of things to read at once, so strict. I was just panicking all the time. So I didn't really like science by secondary school. I didn't have that fire I had in me when I was a kid. So I guess that's kind of one of my weaknesses I had. I kind of lost that inspiration to do science. Then after secondary school, when I joined Science for All, that fire inside me lit again, I now wanted to pursue science again because I always thought of science as hard or difficult in secondary school. But now I'm starting to see another side of science, which is just beautiful and amazing. And I can't wait to know more.
Oh, that's so fantastic. And I'm glad that you touched on how being part of Science for All was very helpful in lighting that fire again. Because like you said, that sometimes when you are in that school setting, it can seem very, I want to say clinical. And it can take the love away from it. I say this as well because I understand exactly what you're saying. But then when you are in a setting like that, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons, that's why Science for All also exists. You're able to see things more in a practical manner, etc., etc. So Vitumbuko, how did you get involved into Science for All? How did that process start?
Okay, so I guess it was this one day after I had run my MSc exams. I had my results. I was just at home. We usually have like a gap year here in Malawi. So I was at home just doing nothing. And then my uncle just told me that, you know what, you're at home, you're doing nothing. You could just start this club. It's called Science for All. It's a friend of his. So like, okay, sounds good. I could join. So that's how we actually joined Science for All. So my uncle introduced me to the initiative, what it does, and I thought it was really cool. The fact that it reaches out to secondary school students to help them see outside of science, which I never saw when I was in secondary school. I hope it might be a really big help so that there shouldn't be more me's from secondary school, but then they need to have that, they need to experience that side of science, which I now experience. Yeah.
Oh, that's so fantastic. That's so great. And I love that. So is this the same uncle who told you about microbiology?
Yes, it's the same uncle.
What is this uncle's name? What is Mr. Who? I think you need to give him a big shout out at this moment, because he seems to be very crucial in your science trajectory.
Yeah, so this is Dr. Kuzwa Ojere. He's a biologist.
Oh, wow, doctor. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. We love that. And it's so amazing that, I just love the fact that he kept on lighting that fire for you in small ways. Yeah. And that's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And it's great that you have him as a visible role model.
Yeah, it's good.
Speaking of visible role models, so then where do you see yourself, Vitumbuko? You are in your first semester of, you're in your first semester of university, right?
Yes.
So where do you see yourself in future? I know you already said you want to cure a disease, but apart from that, where else do you see yourself?
Okay, I kind of see myself being called Dr. Vitumbuko. So yeah, I mean, that's the dream. I'll have my PhD. I should have a lot of success. I also kind of see myself as having a business at the side, something. But yeah, the main dream is to become a doctor. That's what I really want. Even a professor. Yeah, but I really want to be a doctor.
Wow, Dr. Vitumbuko Msowoya. Yeah. It's got a nice ring to it.
It does.
No, I look forward for when that happens and you can come back onto the show and we can reminisce about your first time and how far you've made it. And it's so amazing that, you are doing all of this great work. And I wish you all of the best for your future and everything that you're going to do.
Thank you very much.
My next guest is Kingsley Gajanga, who is 21 years old, currently doing his final year studying a Bachelor of Science in Statistics at the Catholic University in Malawi. He's doing his attachments Malawi Liverpool Wellcome Trust program under Dr. Augustine Choko's mentorship. Kingsley, welcome to the show. It's so lovely to have you.
All right, thanks, Annie.
So let's get this started, Kingsley. We've introduced you that you're doing your final year, but before you got there, I want to know, what is your story? What made you want to do a science degree? Was it something that you always knew you wanted to do?
All right. So at first, I never wanted science as my career. So since I was primary, I always wanted to be a lecturer, but not knowing what a lecturer means and all that. So how kids act. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer and all that.
Yes.
So I never wanted to be a scientist. My profession was I wanted to be a lecturer, but I didn't know what makes one to be a lecturer. So during my primary thing, my mom was schooling at the College of Medicine. So he was mentioning this other lecturer, Dr. Mada. So I was like, okay, so I wanna test this profession. I wanna be a lecturer and all that. So that was always the thing I wanted in my career. So in primary, I was good at mathematics. So I started liking mathematics and all that. So all I know, my mindset was I wanna teach mathematics things one day. So I was thinking that Eric Chara is someone who teaches maybe in secondary and all that without even knowing what makes one to be Eric Chara. So as I was growing, I was finding myself that I was based in history, social studies, mathematics. So when I was in Form 4, I had to meet this other teacher. So he said, I think you can be based in mathematics, or you can be based maybe in mathematics, or as in mathematics, the course, the program, right? And you can be based in maybe statistics. So can you try doing that thing? So I was like, okay, cool. So in 2018, that's where I tried joining Science for All. So with joining Science for All, I tried asking someone, I don't even recall. So I was like, I want to choose a profession of myself. So he was like, what do you want to be? I want to be a lecturer. Do you know what makes one to be a lecturer? I said, no, actually, I don't know. So he was like, for you to be a lecturer, maybe you have to, first of all, go and encourage, maybe pass well and all that, have a master's degree and all that, so that you might become the dream you want. So I was like, okay, cool. So when I passed my Form 4 exams, so that's where I wanted to choose my career path, right? So so I thought of being an economist. So my mom was really interested in statistics things. So I was like, okay, let me try applying both economics and statistics. Unfortunately, statistics chose me. So something that I didn't really want it. So yeah. So during my first years of college, I was like calling my mom each and every day, Mom, I don't want to do these things and all that. These things are just too much on me, and every time I find myself that failing and all that. So my mom said that I should just trust in yourself and all that. So that's how I am right now, a scientist in mathematics and all that. So that's it, and I like it right now. Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay, so I like how you was like, I just want to be a lecturer. You didn't know what it was. You're just like, this sounds really exciting. Yeah. So, and then eventually, with the help of your mom and just taking in some time, you were able to figure out your plan. So you mentioned that you're doing your final year in the statistics program, yes, right? But you said in the beginning it was difficult, and I'd like us to talk more about that, because speaking on not only the difficulties, but I also think the good parts as well, because you are in your final year. That means you have made it past the struggle. So just talk us through what was the challenges and what were some of the good parts of your academic journey so far.
All right. So should I start with the bad things or the good things?
You can start with whichever one you want to start with.
So I'll go with the challenges first. So as in statistics as in just in general, the general thing, math things are always difficult to people, right? So once I got in college, I was in first year. So there was only one person second year, two people in third year, and fourth year, I think there was only one or two, something like that. So, you got selected to do stats, and you're finding that proportion of people and all that. So people will be like, hey, you get read and all that. So each and every time things were just getting difficult to me. And remembering where I come from and what I want in life would be like, God, why make this thing to me work and all that? So that was the first challenge I made. People, my friends, let's say on Friday, I was finding myself sitting down solving mathematics and all that. But my friends were there out cheering and all that. I never had time of myself to enjoy college during my first years, because everything was just hard on me. So that was my first challenge. So so the other challenge I faced during my last years were so it was all things to do with personal reasons with this other lecturer and all that. So that was the main challenge I faced till today. I still cry in day and day out, and I thank God for that. So that was my whole challenges during the time I was at the Catholic University.
Okay, so talk me through the good parts now.
All right. So the good part is that so at the Catholic University we have the Faculty of Science, and we have the Faculty of Science, of which statistics and environmental studies. So the good part was there was no any science association on campus at the Catholic University. So with me coming in, I had this other fear of mine. We helped each other and established a science association to empower other students like me, cause like the way I was, because the general thing of establishing the science association was with the mindset I was in the first year that I'll get with it just because I chose statistics and just because science subjects are difficult and all that. So we had to establish a science association so that we can be talking to the people who are coming in like first years and second years, something like that. So that we can just empower them how science it is. And we also had chances to go out there to secondary schools and all that to enrich the science world. So our main emphasis in that science association was us going out there so that we can have many future scientists. So of course everyone you ask will be like, okay, I hate science thing just because they are difficult. So we wanted to remove that mentality that science subjects are difficult and all that, mathematics courses are difficult and all that, because
yes,
so that was the only main thing we had to do. So my other thing was my other good part was when I was in first year, I had to attend, there's this other ceremony which is called Dean's List, right? So they award people who do well. So I, being a statistician and all that, I said to myself, I went there was no one of stat there was no one there who took stat that was on the Dean's List. So I was like, God, one day I want to make it. I want to be me. So yes. So my first phase came, I was on the Dean's List. The second sem up to finishing my final year, I was on the Dean's List and passing with the distinctions and all that. That was like, wow, okay. So I made it because okay. Ever since my first step in the Catholic University, people were just saying statistics is difficult, you get with it and all that. Unfortunately, it turned out that I'm making it. So I was like, so that has always been my thing, because even though I had days of me going to class, finding myself I'm solving things at 2, 3 a.m. and all that, crying each and every day in my mom's DM that, Mom, why did you really allow me to make this decision? Because it was all hard on me and all that. So though I still progressed and all that. So yeah, that's only so that's the only thing I can say, that it's really good to me about taking statistics and all that.
No, I commend you for sticking it through and rising above the challenges. And look now, like you said, you've made it. You are getting onto the Dean's List. And also congratulations for starting that science organization on your university. That's really commendable work. I really commend you on that. So speaking of organizations and creating support support. Did this happen after you were being part of the Science for All, or were you inspired to do this after you were being part of the Science for All club, or was this before that?
All right, so for Science for All, I joined it way back 2018. So with the same thing. All right, so but Science for All helped me a lot because as youth, you get inspired with people above you and all that. Seeing Dr. Mara, the likes of Kondwani Jambo and all that. So it was all inspiring me that one day I want to be like them and all that. So Science for All helped me to pull up records too, because you see Dr. Mara talking to us, this, that, and that, and that, and that. Okay, we have different careers and all that. She's a doctor in medicine and all that. But all in all, I was like, okay, one day I want to be like them and all that. So with the same mentality for Science for All and reaching out people so that we should expanding the territory of science, I had the same mentality that we can also do this thing in school and all that. So that's the same. I brought so literally I had to carry on with the same mentality we have for Science for All in here to bring it to school so that we can also enrich the science. We can also enrich the science world and all that. So that was the main emphasis of that thing.
Wow. No, I love that. I love how you took what was helpful for you and you wanted to also give that opportunity to other people who maybe might not have had the same chance. So you said for you that Science for All has been a source of inspiration, seeing all these other various people to inspire you to do more and to do many great things. And with that being said, where do you see yourself in the future? You're almost done now you're in your final year. What are the next steps for Kingsley? Where is the lecturer dream now? Is that still in the pipeline? Talk me through about your future prospects.
All right. So actually, my dream has always been that I want to be a lecturer and I'll make it one day, because the thing I believe in, the thing I believe is that with the knowledge I have, I can transform it to someone and they can also transform it to someone. So with the mentorship I'm getting here and all that, so I feel like I will still go with the lecturer thing. But my plan here and all that, if maybe God allows and all that, I want to go into biostatistics, then do epidemiology and all that. So those are the things I'm dreaming of. So I'm also dreaming that maybe I can work with the same organization for a couple of years and all that, have experience in science and all that, cause mostly with my mentor, or Dr. Augustine Choko will be like, hey, okay, so yeah, originally I went to school. I had to go through all those 4 years, but with the experience he has and with the things he talks me through, I just feel like, wow, did I even really wasted my whole 4 years at the Catholic University and all that? Not saying that I'm not capable of doing that, but with the things he asked me and all that, some of the things I do feel and all that. So that's the thing. So that's the thing mostly, because I want to have experience in science and all that, because you all know that in every research, in some research needs the quantitative aspect and all that. So I want to build myself more in research, help out the organization and all that. So that's my main emphasis. So where I see myself in the next years, I see myself doing biostatistics, epidemiology and all that, having experience in research. So that's it, just to make things a summary.
Wow. Okay. No, I wish you all of the best. And you can tell that with your passion, you are very capable of doing that. And I hope one day we can have you back onto the show and remind you of how you spoke these words and how they have manifested. And I honestly wish you all of the best, Kingsley. It was really lovely chatting with you today.
All right. Thank you.
And to everybody else who's tuned in for another episode of the Root of the Science podcast, it's your girl, Anne with an E. Until next time, goodbye.
Bye.